This week on the show.
Vamos a cruzar frontera.
On the run in central Mexico.
This experience tonight is one of the craziest things I've done on this planet.
Wild and rugged Scottish holidays. And painting a picture of Denmark.
Skagen has special colors and has a special light.
We're starting this week right in the middle of Mexico, in the state of Hidalgo, just 2 hours drive north of Mexico City. The landscape is exactly what you might expect. The sheer cliffs and prickly cactus are so abundant, it's almost cartoonish. Wow. This particular area is gorgeous. Central Mexico is incredibly beautiful, and it's hard to imagine why anybody would want to leave. But they did. This is Ixmiquilpan, now a bustling, friendly place to pick up some lunch. But just a couple decades ago, people say it looked like a ghost town. They were leaving for the United States in sizable numbers, as they were for many towns and villages across Mexico. In the crook of this ravine, a group of recently returned illegal immigrants decided they wanted to solve the problem on their own, years before any talk of a border wall. They wanted to convince their children and grandchildren that they'll have a better life here in Mexico, and to warn them about the dangers of crossing.
Anteriormente, no había nada de lo que ustedes ven aquí, nada de servicios. Es como si era un pueblo de desierto. Fuimos viendo que aquí podían morir de hambre. Pero así como se fue uno, después dos, después tres, así venía y regresaba, hasta que nos dimos cuenta que estábamos haciendo lo mejor, de salir en el pueblo, en la pobreza, y dirigir en una nueva vida, una mejor oportunidad para nuestros hijos, familias.
The notorious crowning glory of the park was the brutal night walk, which allows tourists to experience what it's like to illegally cross the U.S. border, albeit a fake one. Their hope? That it would be a deterrent.
Caminar de noche no solamente caminar de noche. Caminar de noche es vivir la experiencia de un emigrante cruzando frontera. Vivir de noche es ver la situación que se pone de noche cuando te caes y duele. Cuando te puedes caer en una montaña y te mueres. Cuando pasa un animal peligroso y te puede morder y te puedes morir. Eso es lo que se trata de noche.
Le voy a dar un minuto para que agarren agua.
We're told to meet inside the main gate.
This is the real deal.
And even though these guys are playing a part, they really mean business.
Isidro, Gabriel Guerrero.
So the guy yelling at the top of his lungs is our coyote. What you call somebody who brings you across the border. He is taking his character extremely seriously.
Hoy vamos a cruzar el camino más difícil.
He's yelling out orders to our group. Already, my heart is beating so fast.
¿Sí me entienden? ¿Sí o no, chinga? Sí. ¿Qué? ¿No pueden hablar?
They're trying to make this as realistic as possible, breaking in, listen to him, breaking into the USA. I think we have to start going. So firstly, we're all jumping in the back of a pickup truck. I have no idea where we're going. He's not giving us any tips, any pointers. ¿Tienes miedo?
No, ya, como ya es la segunda vez.
She's saying that this is their second time doing the border crossing. She's not very scared. However, this guy right here, his first time, I'm pretty scared.
and we're going to all cross, or attempt to cross, the border they've created for us tonight. I have to watch my step. Hold on. This is intense. There's gunshots, there's sirens. This bridge is totally not stable. And there's people crawling on the ground. I don't even know what's going on, but the group is slowly... I went right through. You okay?
Yeah.
Unsure footing I can kind of deal with.
¿Qué hacen aquí? ¿Con quién vienen?
But things get much scarier when you're forced to the ground by these very authentic-looking armed bandits.
¿Con quién vienes?
Solo. Vengo solo. Es agua y mi cámara. I'm actually afraid to make too much noise. I don't want them to come back.
Normally, you'd welcome the arrival of the police with open arms, but our coyote tells us to run.
We're running. We have to go. We have to go.
Hay mucha gente que cruza por acá nuestro país en México, que hoy le decimos por medio de esto que no vayan, que es mucho peligro, que aquí se puede, que no confundamos las cosas, que lo que se hace aquí en Parque Ecoalberto es para decirle o hacerle conciencia que lo difícil que puede vivir o tal vez perder tu familia, tu vida en la frontera.
Do you think people coming here and experiencing this, it works and makes them want to stay in Mexico?
Lo hemos comprobado ya con nuestra propia gente de aquí, de este pueblo, o aquí en el municipio de Izmiquilpan, por medio de esta actividad. Lo hemos visto desde el 2011 que se inició esto. Antes había muchos niños, muchos jóvenes, muchos adultos que se iban para Estados Unidos. Poco a poquito nos dimos cuenta que los jóvenes hoy en día están en las universidades, están en la preparatoria, estudiando por medio de crear esto, hacer conciencia, como lo vuelvo a decir.
And the whole point of this park is to show people the hardships and the work that goes into border crossing. And tonight's been a perfect example of that so far. Look at this. I have a cactus stuck in the bottom of my shoe. Look at that. That's going all the way through the side of my shoe. This is the moment we get to hopefully cross the border. Our coyote is stressing out. Wait for the next truck. As soon as it comes, we're jumping in the back. They're coming! Sirens off in the distance.
Illegal crossings are currently at the lowest they've been for 17 years, though the journey still kills hundreds of people annually. Here at the Eco Parque, they're hoping this experience will end up saving many lives. It's certainly given many of the guests here tonight pause for thought.
That was seriously one of the most difficult things I have done in my life. However, if you're planning to come to this area, here's our guide to some of the things you can see and do in and around Mexico City.
Top of our list would be the street food. You'll see tacos, quesadillas, and tortas on every corner. It's all incredibly cheap and delicious, though to be on the safe side, make sure whatever you're eating is made fresh in front of you. And if you're feeling really brave, head to San Juan Market and try out a handful of crunchy scorpions or grasshoppers. The Frida Kahlo Museum is in the pretty southern suburb of Coyoacan. It's where the artist was born and lived alongside her husband, Diego Rivera. Inside, you'll find collections of work from both of them. Some rooms have been left in the same state they were in when the house became a museum in the 1950s. Our tip: get there early to beat the long queues. This is an incredibly popular attraction. The same advice goes for Chapultepec Castle. It gets crowded in the high season, but it's well worth a look. The beautiful 18th century building started life as a retreat for Aztec rulers and sits in the world's largest urban park. And while you're there, check out the Voladores, a Mesoamerican ceremony in which 4 or 5 men perform suspended from the top of a 30-meter pole. And Xochimilco is the UNESCO-listed canal district a short distance outside the city. Rent a colorful trajinera boat and take in the gardens and wildlife. On Saturday, the place comes alive and becomes kind of a floating party district. It's quite a sight. One weird highlight is the Island of the Dolls, a creepy diversion hidden deep in the canal network. Still to come on The Travel Show. Our global gurus here with recommendations for Scotland in the summertime. And the artistic secrets behind Denmark's biggest fishing port.
It's a beautiful place because you can see all around, and that gives inspiration.
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're heading.
Welcome to the slice of the show that tackles your questions about getting the best out of travel. Coming up, an island escape in Scotland and the perennial problem of tipping. Who and how much, this time on a river cruise. First though, high-speed rail should be arriving shortly in Saudi Arabia. After some teething problems, the link between Mecca and Medina across the Arabian desert should open in March. Spanish-built Talgo trains will cover the 275 miles between the two holy cities in around 2 hours. Helen Gearing is already looking forward to Christmas. The place, not the day.
I'm planning a trip to Christmas Island in the Pacific. What's the best route from London?
Christmas Island, a beautiful coral atoll in the heart of the world's biggest ocean, is the only isle in the Republic of Kiribati that has an international air link. It's a stop along the way between Honolulu and Fiji. There are many ways to reach Honolulu from the UK with a single change of planes at a mainland US airport, but you'll need to make sure you're there at noon on a Tuesday when the only flight of the week takes off for the 3-hour flight south to Christmas Island. Next, Kelly is seeking a different kind of island escape.
We're a family of 4. We have a 9 and 10-year-old, and we're considering a holiday to Scotland for a week in August. We'll drive and would really like to visit the Inner or Outer Hebrides. Do you have any suggestions that would help perfect our trip?
The Hebrides, the islands off the west coast of Scotland, comprise raw elemental landscapes with a dramatic seashore punctuated by pretty ports and superb beaches. Agreed, the weather isn't always clement and the Mediterranean is rather warmer than the North Atlantic, but when the sun shines, the Western Isles have few rivals for sheer beauty. While the Outer Hebrides have a compelling character, for a family, the one island that's likely to be just right is the Inner Hebridean island of Mull. It's easy to reach, just an hour on the Caledonian McBrain ferry from the handsome seaside town of Oban. In terms of timing, the later you can go in August, the better, for a wider choice of accommodation and fewer crowds. Bill Fernley Whittingstall is also stepping on board, taking a river cruise on the Danube. He wants to know,
can you give some guidance on tipping the cruise staff? Who should get one and how much should I give?
a river cruise is a superb way to experience the cities and landscapes of Central Europe, and the Danube is my favourite waterway. Tipping on European river cruises is different from ocean cruising. There's no intense pressure and you could leave nothing at the end of the cruise. But the cruise lines offer recommendations and they tend to be quite similar. €12 per person per day for the ship's staff, plus €2 or €3 per person per day for the cruise director. Were I paying a handsome amount for a Danube cruise, I'd probably tip the staff but leave the cruise director to negotiate his or her own fees direct with the company. Whether you're contemplating a trip to the nation next door or the ends of the earth, I'm here to help. So email your question to thetravelshow@bbc.co.uk and I'll do my very best to find you an answer. From me, Simon Calder, the Global Guru, bye for now and see you next time.
Finally, we're off to Skjern, the most northerly town in Denmark. It's possibly best known for hosting a colony of Scandinavian artists called the Skjern Painters, who worked here chiefly in the late 19th century. And more than a century later, their influence still lives on.
One of my favorite paintings is Peter Severin's Krøyers Midsummer painting of the bonfire at St. John's Night. And it's kind of adding together a lot of the things that these Skjern painters and the colony was all about, really, because it shows us the artist and the local fishermen together in the same painting. Actually, we still, this day to day, are celebrating St. John's Night in the same way as we see on the painting. Back in the 1870s and 80s, the Skjern painters started coming here. They were from Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Great Britain, and at this time traveling was part of the education of becoming an artist. They found a fisherman's village on the top of Denmark where these two oceans meet each other. This touch that the artists made on this town, I think, is very important for Skjern today.
So this is going to be a sketch for a bigger painting in my studio. That's the idea. It's a beautiful place because you can see all around. You have the both sea sides and also you have the houses of Skjern, which are quite important, especially with the colors, the yellow, the red, the white.
Most of our paintings are from the period 1870 to 1920, 25, 30. But that's when the artist colony was really alive. They would come back nearly every summer. The artists met at Brøndums Hotel mainly, and so this is social connection between the people, the local and the artists, was very important.
I usually say it all began here at Brøndums Hotel. It's a very historical place. We want to keep that special atmosphere, and because it's what the people they want to see when they come here. Dan Brøndum, who was the owner at the hotel at that time, said to the artists that they don't have to pay anything for staying here. They could just give them the pictures. It was here that all the artists were having big dinners, playing cards, have a lot of discussions about paintings and so on.
This is my drug, you know. I have to paint. I need it every day to have my life running. I cannot live without painting. It gives me the speed of being alive.
We have a lot of paintings focusing on the fishermen, and that was like a core motive for nearly all of the Skjern painters, because that was what they met, these hardworking local fishermen living and dying from the sea.
A bit more than 100 years back, this town was more or less a very small town where the fishermen landed their catches on the beach, beaching smaller boats. Well, I can't help feeling quite a lot of respect for the fishermen and the circumstances they had to work under. In 1907, the construction of the port was finished, which meant a whole new opportunity. Since the past 13 years, or 14 years actually, we have been the largest fishing port in Denmark. When it is working out well within the port area and for the businesses in the port, it's working out very well for the town of Skagen too. That's the way it has always been.
But I like very much to paint big and heavy. Being painter in Skagen today is not as it were, of course. So, but it's still the same energy, it's still the same color attitude that I use, because Skagen has special colors and has a special light.
You can actually come into the museums and look at these paintings, and you can go outside and you can find these different motifs that you see on the canvas. I think the fact that there was an artist colony here plays a very important role in putting Skagen on the map.
The people of Skagern in Denmark, bringing this week's show to an end. Coming up next week, we'll be on board Africa's Freedom Railway, a vital artery connecting Zambia's Copperbelt region to the Tanzanian coast for over 40 years.
We witnessed 7 lions. They were chasing a zebra. It was like a movie, but this was the real.
Finding what the future holds for this now creaking train line.
And in the meantime, if you'd like to join our adventures on the road, you can follow us on social media. But for now, from myself, Mike Corey, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in Mexico, it's adios.